Alright, welcome to Mr. Cruiser. I'm going to go over practice quiz. Actually, it's a practice test now. It's a practice test for chapter 3. Alright, problem number 1. You have a interior angles that are next to each other. They are consecutive, meaning they add up to 180. And the way I know this is an acute angle and this is an obtuse angle. So we have an acute plus an obtuse. Acute plus obtuse go together to make 180. Solve the equation, you have 29. Now in this equation, or this problem, we have an acute angle and an acute angle. They are corresponding, if you know the words. Since they are corresponding, they are in the same location, so they are congruent. Set them equal to each other, they are 12. In this problem here, we could set up this equation. 59 is equal to 2y. It says the lines shown are parallel, so we'll want to go ahead and mark that as parallel. The lines shown are parallel, meaning they are congruent. So 59 equals 2y. Divide it, 29.5 equals y. We do have decimals in here. And then for the x values, well, this one and this one, again, these are both the acute. They are congruent. Set the equation and solve it. Number 4, Preston asked to find the value of x. He said it was 86, right? Because you could take this 86 and put it there. You could take that 86 and put it there. So everything is 86. And that's wonderful, except for the fact that nowhere does it say these lines are parallel. So you can't use this rule. You can make this 86 because they're vertical, but you can't go up here. That is not allowed because they're not parallel. On the bottom, let's see here. You could take this 5x and put it over there because those are corresponding. And now you have that this 5x equals here because they are vertical. And you have solved this for 25. And then now that you have that, these are congruent. So 5x right here is equal to y plus 12 because those are vertical. However, we know what x is. X is 25, so I can plug it in there, do the math, and I can figure out what y is. Again, you don't have to go back and plug these in because it's asking for x and y, not the angles. Always look to see if you need to plug them in. And if you're solving for the variables, you don't need to do that. Alright, on the back, find the equation of the line through this point. Remember, all lines are y equals mx plus b. And it's parallel, so this slope is 3. So I'm going to bring down this slope. So what is the b value? Well, I take this point and I always substitute it in. 1 goes there, 3 goes there. Solve for b. B is 0. Y equals 3x plus 0. That's y equals mx plus b. There's another form of this number, this equation here. I could subtract the y off and put it over there and put the 0 over there, and I could turn it into 3x minus y is equal to 0. They're just two different forms of the same line. You want to be familiar with going back and forth between the two. Number 7, perpendicular. Well, here's my original slope. So my perpendicular slope becomes negative 2/3. And that's what goes there. Plug in this point, x, y. Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6, divided by 3 is 2. Subtract it over, b is negative 1. Here's my equation. And again, if I want to put it in this form where I move stuff around, I could add this x over there. Let me go ahead and do that. If I did add that x over there, I would get 2/3 x plus y equals negative 1. And then if I multiply this entire thing by 3, it will transform into this equation, which is just another version of this equation. Alright, the distance formula. Well, we have to use this point and this point because distance is a straight distance, not a diagonal distance. Distance formula gives you root 32. Root 32 is really 16 times root 2. Square root of 16 is 4 roots of 2. Plug it in your calculator to get this. For the test, most likely this test there is no calculators, so we'll want to stop right there. On number 9, answer the questions about the diagram. I forgot to mark these as parallel, so you can go ahead and mark them now. They are parallel. Angles 1 and 5 are corresponding. Angles 4 and 6 are same side interior or consecutive. They're right next to each other, that's why they're called consecutive. If angle 6 is 70 degrees, I'll go ahead and write that there. Then angle 3, well, that's alternate interior, acute, that's 70 also. If angle 7 is 55, so I'm going to go ahead and write that there, that's 55 here. Then angle 1, well, what would that be? Well, this 55 goes there, and then these two have to be supplementary, so 55 plus x equals 180. Well, that's going to give me 125 degrees there. The equation of this, through this point of this line, will I bring down the same slope? If I plug in 3 and 8, this actually turned out to be a b value of 6. So it turned out to be this same exact line. Usually doesn't happen that way, but these lines are right on top of each other, so probably should have given you a different point here, but just know that that's the process you would go through. You'd plug in whatever point you had there, find the b value. And again, I manipulated it into this version of the equation. I want to make sure you know how to go back and forth between the two. All right, write an equation perpendicular to this line. Well, here's this line here, and it's not in the form we like. The form we like is y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to transform it into this form. I'm going to subtract this over, divide by -5. So now it says y is equal to 3/5 x minus 6/5. I'm going to take this slope, that's 3 over 5, and make it 5 over 3, but negative. Input my point, solve for b. There's my equation. Again, I could flip it around and write it this way. And the last one, are the lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Well, I would do this formula. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. 7 minus 3, the line goes up 4. -5 minus -9, 4, up 4, over 4, slope of 1. Same deal here, 2 minus 6, -4, -7 minus -11, 4, down 4 over 4. These lines, one is positive, one is negative, and they are reciprocals. They are perpendicular. Alright, I hope this helps with your test. If you have any questions, I will see you in class.